Coach Tony Risson, Podium Performance here, and today we're going to be talking about continuing education in the personal training and strength and conditioning industry. So the first thing to consider when it comes to continuing education in your career is three main things. The first being, is it applicable to the clients I currently serve? Second, is it going to be applicable to the clients I want to serve and that I'm going to be serving a year from now, 5 years from now within my niche? And the third is this course going to contain both theoretical and practical information and components that I'm going to learn the most from so that I get the most bang for my buck? The reason why I put emphasis on that last part is if you don't actually do something and experience it, you're not going to be able to fully understand what it is that you are then going to be asking your client to do. It's like if you've never done German volume training and you want to get a client to do it, that's somewhat inappropriate because you don't understand just how grueling proper GVT can be. So from there, what you need in continuing education and in education in general in this industry is some fundamental foundational information. I would recommend that everybody get some form of formal education. You can audit a university course even, or just get textbooks on anatomy and physiology, exercise physiology, a little bit of basic biomechanics so that you actually understand how joints move and forces on them, and then on nutrition. This way you get that fundamental information that's going to be very wide-reaching, and it's going to be applicable to 99% of anybody who ever walks in the door. From there, now let's take a look at courses that I personally would recommend. So my history of courses is I've gone down the Poliquin route with PICP as well as Strength Sensei. This was PICP pre-2013, and this was Strength Sensei pre-2019. So before all the kerfuffle happened since the death of Poliquin with Strength Sensei, and before he had left Poliquin Group. I do know from conversations with the new team at Poliquin Group that they are looking to bring back the education quality of pre-2013, well, pre-2014, so that it's a higher standard and it puts respect back on that certification. So first we'll talk PICP, or Poliquin International Coaching or Certification Program. So I recommend everybody get level 1 and level 2. Level 1 is going to be the upper body structural balance. Level 2 is lower body structural balance. While yes, structural balance might be a term many might be familiar with, but what you learn in these courses is first there's the online component where you have to pass a test with, I believe it's a 90% pass score, and then you have an in-person practical weekend or practical couple of days that goes over how to do the different strength tests and assessments, as well as more theoretical information from program design to exercise selection, progressions, and regressions. So the upper body PICP level 1 is everything is based off of the biochromial grip or 14-inch wide flat bench press with a barbell. And from there you have strength ratios that should be within certain parameters or certain percentages of that 1 RM so that you're able to reduce the risk for injury. And if you're not in balance, you're then able to give exercise selections that are going to reduce that strength imbalance. The lower body, or PICP level 2, is dealing with everything based off of the back squat, the high bar Olympic back squat where you go ass to heels and back up. So you're also dealing with, okay, how does the percentage of your front squat relate to that, and what does that mean in terms of what's going to be weak? You learn certain assessment tools like the leg tension test, the CLAT test, rocker board, so that you're then able to see what other imbalances may be at play that are restricting or causing an athlete or client to either have a decrease in performance, whether it's strength performance or on-field performance, or if it's something that's showing up that might be the actual root cause for a potential injury that they've sustained or are at risk of sustaining in the future. Another fundamental or foundational course I would recommend is the Darby Training Systems DTS Level 1. It's kind of like PICP for general population. While PICP is very wide-ranging, it can be applied to just about any client you'll ever deal with. Kevin Darby has simplified some of the aspects of it so that it's going to be more usable within a box or a commercial gym environment. Personally, I also recommend on the nutrition side, Precision Nutrition, just because it gives you the toolbox you can use immediately with clients on helping them make better choices and better food selections so that they get to their goals faster. If you really think about things, as a personal trainer, strength coach, we see the athlete maybe 5 times in a week for an hour, whereas they're going to be eating or around food for 3 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we see them for 5 out of the 168 hours, whereas they're around food for 21 out of 168 hours in a week. So that's going to have a massive impact on the results that they get, whether that's going to be beneficial to them or detrimental to the results that they want. That's going to have a massive play in things. One other fundamental course I would recommend is the Muscle Nerds courses, because Luke Lehman has done an excellent job of making it so that it's very understandable. He understands the information well enough that he's teaching to be able to simplify it so that it's easily not just taught but communicated. And then from there, you start to get into a little bit more specialized areas. So I don't personally recommend strength coaches and personal trainers try to become therapists. Like, don't necessarily go and become a licensed or registered massage therapist, athletic therapist, physical or physiotherapist, or chiropractor, because those jobs themselves are hard enough to be excellent at. Now, if you're trying to be an excellent strength and conditioning coach or personal trainer, but you're taking time away to become good at being a therapist, you'll only ever really become good at one. You'll never achieve true greatness at one of them. So I always say, focus on one. You only have one ass. You can't sit on 2 donkeys with one ass. So why be a jack of all trades if you can be a true master of one? And if you're a master of something, then people seek you out more so. However, there are a few borderline therapy type courses that would be beneficial for the toolbox of a strength and conditioning coach and personal trainer. One being the Stretch to Win Institute, Anne and Chris Frederick, fascia stretch therapy. There's 3 levels to it. You learn different stretching techniques that help to alleviate some issues that clients and athletes may have. The FST also can be a standalone service that you offer, while also being something that is also symbiotically within a regular session. Also, Mike Pellegrino from Monte Carlo, he has the kinetic chain enhancement, which he will be starting to teach again very soon as he recovers from deciding it was a good idea to fall down while snowboarding in the winter and then falling out of his van again a month and a half ago. The guy just can't seem to stay on his own 2 feet and likes to fall on his shoulder. But the kinetic chain enhancement brings a bunch of other modalities in and is easily used right on the gym floor, whether it's just doing the scraping technique known as gua sha to alleviate some tightness, or you need to do PNF stretching, proprioceptive neurofacilitation stretching, to reduce some tension in a muscle so that you're able to perform either in the gym or even on the field of play. Like if somebody, for example, if their shoulder is a little tight, okay, why is it tight? If it's just that they've been sitting all day in a kind of crunched up position, but it's preventing them from being able to do something like a chin up, okay, maybe it's just a little gua sha that's needed, maybe it's a little PNF and gua sha that's needed, and next thing you know, the person is performing in the gym perfectly well. Or if it's at the field of play, okay, we just need to alleviate a little bit of tenderness, boom, done. But stuff like acupuncture, chiropractic adjustments, leave that to the professionals. Massage therapy, don't do that unless you're a licensed or registered massage therapist, because if you do, it's illegal. So focus on what you can legally do and what is actually within our scope of practice. Then there's Simone Fortier, who has her fascia training institute. So her stuff, she's dealing with the mind as well as its connection with fascia and how all of that intertwines. I'm going to be hosting her level 1 upper body course in September. So that's something that you'll want to check out as well. Okay, and then from there you start to get into more specialized things, but I'm going to start out first with a general specialized symposium. It's the Swiss Symposium that Dr. Ken Kanakin, you're going to hear that name a couple of times throughout this, is bringing back. The Swiss Symposium. It's going to be in Columbus, Ohio, this October 27th through 29th, and it's in association with Dave Tate and Elite FTS. So Swiss Symposium brings some of the best people in the world in multiple streams, whether it's the best in functional medicine, best in treatment, best in training or nutrition. It brings all of these people together under one roof, and the true magic of the Swiss Symposium isn't even the presentations themselves. It's actually what goes on in the hallway between presentations, after, before presentations, at the hotel restaurant, at the restaurants nearby, where you're able to pick the brains of these presenters who are very open to communicating their information to you, and they'll take all the time needed to answer the questions that people have. But it's also a great way where you can meet other like-minded people within the industry. So if you're a strength coach, personal trainer, therapist of some kind, functional medicine doctor, bodybuilder, powerlifter, strongman, athlete, I suggest all of you get your ass to the Swiss Symposium this October. Right now, it's running at an early bird rate, and that price will be going up over time. So get your ticket for it now so that you can save money. And also, it's being held in Columbus, which is the home of not just Elite FTS, but Westside Barbell and the Arnold Classic. So Swiss Symposium is definitely something for you to keep in mind. From there, now let's start to look at more specialized things. If you want to get more into the nutrition, hormone optimization, and body composition and supplementation, that's when you start to look at Poliquin Group's biosignature. How to actually properly take skin fold measurements using Harpenden skin fold calipers. This way, you're then able to put it into the software, and it'll give you what the priority is and what hormones may necessarily be slightly imbalanced, whether it could be estrogen, insulin, testosterone. So if these aren't working optimally, you're not going to be losing body fat at an optimal level, and your health is also not going to be working as optimally, which is where supplementing, sometimes fairly heavily, comes into play. Or you also realize, okay, with an obese client, this might not necessarily be something that applies to them right now, but as they become leaner, this allows you to really dial things in with them so that they're able to be healthier and get results faster. I do believe that they will be bringing a level 2 for it, which is with some more specialized topics in the future. But for right now, it's really focusing on what the fundamentals of biosignature is and learning proper skin fold caliper use. From here, I'll talk on the sport performance side. I don't actually recommend any real courses other than perhaps the Altus courses for track and field, which also deal, because track and field is such a foundation sport, it's very wide ranging, the principles that are involved in it, as well as Justin Kavanagh and Hank K. I can't pronounce his last name, he's European. They have a course with stronger experts on speed development. So Altus and the Stronger Experts course with Justin Kavanagh and Hank are two excellent sources of information course-wise. If you're looking for sport performance, this is where I recommend people and not courses. So if you're looking at basketball, for example, you go and see Preston Green down at the University of Miami, or Alan Bishop at the University of Houston. These are two of the best people in the world when it comes to basketball specifically. Then you start to also look, if you're at the hockey side of things, that's when you go, okay, in Canada, Matt Nichol is one of the top guys for hockey. He's based in Toronto. Just a name drop, a client of his, Connor McDavid, who is potentially the best player in the world at this current time. And then you also look at Ben Prentice at Prentice Hockey Performance in Stamford, Connecticut. So with Ben with Ben especially, he's a no bullshit kind of guy. He's just going to give it to you as it is and what's needed. So, but it's also going to be a little bit like a fire hose to the face in terms of information, because he's got so much experience and knowledge in his head. And when he's communicating it to you, it's going to be coming fast. So you got to be on your game with him. He does offer internships typically during the summer, where you actually get to work with professional hockey players. When you start to look at football, that's when it's like, okay, guys like Dave Lawrence or Ian Danny. Ian's out in Phoenix, Arizona. Dave Lawrence is in the Detroit area. He's got a couple gyms called Mecca in the area. He's also a big investor in Poliquin Group now, and one of their and the chief education coordinator for them. So these are kind of the main people. If you're in the Dominican or the Caribbean area and you're looking for someone a little closer by, the only person there I personally recommend is to go see Tony Pera in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, at the training room. He's a great guy, but he's also incredibly proficient at coaching. He's going to get the best out of the athlete, but he's also going to get the best out of you as he's teaching you. All right, and then another person to really look at who has a vast, wide range and one of the most prolific writers within the strength and conditioning world is Christian Thibodeau from Quebec, Canada. You can find him at Tib Army. He's very well versed in basically all aspects of the iron game at this point, as well as nutritionally. He has his own courses. His neurotyping course is one of the most forward-thinking ones in the past couple of years, and it really can help you hone in on getting different types of clients optimal results. So from here, that's kind of the training side of things. If you're looking for a little bit more on the nutrition, functional medicine information, that's when you look at like the muscle-centric medicine from Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. She's a big proponent of exercise and muscle being actually the body's biggest organ, and how important lean body mass is for health. She's also a big supporter of the military. Then you have from Ireland, you have Dr. Fionnuala McHale. Women's health issues, she's the person that I recommend the most in that regard. Dr. Bob Rakowski from Texas. He's worked with the supplement company Nutridyne on many things, including their detox protocol. He's very good at communicating information and making it understandable. If you're looking for somebody on the nutrition side dealing with diabetics even more so, and optimizing health in that regard, and like the ketogenic side of things, then you look at Dr. Lucia Aronica, who does her research at Stanford University out in California. So these are kind of like the main people in that regard. If you're looking for something like muscle testing, again, Dr. Ken Kinakin has a muscle testing course where it might seem like a little bit of voodoo, but it works. Like, for example, he had me hold in one hand one flavor of protein, and then holding a different flavor and checking how the grip strength was, and just the difference in the flavor of the two proteins and the types of protein. My grip strength was different. Like, it was like, okay, this is some voodoo shit, but hey, if something is going to make me perform better or give an athlete of mine an unfair advantage, I'm going to take it when it's a legal way for them to have an unfair advantage, because that's going to make them more money, which is going to make it so that I have more value to the client. So these are the main people in terms of continuing education that I personally recommend for personal trainers and strength coaches. Are there more out there? Yes. Have I mentioned all of the ones who I do recommend? No, because there's specific topics that this would just get into that's too long. This is for get your career going a little bit more accelerated, and these are the heavy hitters with some of the best course information or the best information that they can relay to you. So just to kind of wrap things up, remember, if you're looking at a course, the biggest things you should look at is, first, is the course going to be usable or applicable to my current clients that I have right now. If I'm dealing with middle-aged housewives, going and learning football is not going to help me with my clients. But if I'm dealing with football, going and learning necessarily bodybuilding or going and learning certain other things isn't going to be as applicable. So you take a look at the clients you have right now and the clients you want to have tomorrow and see, okay, is this course applicable to them? Second, does the course have a practical component? If it doesn't have a necessary practical component where you learn by doing, you're not going to get as much value from it. And then the third thing is this course applicable for use tomorrow? When I'm done the course, can I go home and use it right away? Personally, I would only ever take a course that I can use basically right away immediately, because it needs to be able to justify me leaving clients and taking time away from clients to take the course. If I'm learning something that's not going to be usable for them, I'm wasting time and I'm kind of cheating them a little bit. From that, I hope what you've taken from this is what to look for in a course and some of the best people on the planet to learn from and to get courses from. Do I have a personal bias? Yes, we all do. But I try to point people towards the best information possible, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to raise this industry up to a whole new level. So, with all that in mind, what I hope you take out of this is that any course that you want to take or that you're looking to take should be able to be used immediately and have a practical component and be applicable to your clients today and tomorrow. Coach Tony, Wrestling Podium Performance, keep studying, keep educating, and embrace your potential.